50s the whole time.
In Pensacola.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the Selectmen's meeting tonight, February 10th. I'm going to take a roll for attendance. Alan,
Aye, here.
Pat,
Here.
Mike,
Here.
Ed,
Here.
And Sheila's here. Good evening. This is a virtual Board of Selectmen's meeting. If you wish to make a public comment and speak on the agenda item, please use the raise your hand feature on your device. The moderator will be notified and will unmute you. Please identify yourself before making comments. Dave, how many participants tonight? 9 attendants. Thank you. Item 2, approve January 27th Selectmen meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Or Pat,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
and Sheila says aye. Motion passes. Item 3, public forum. This is an opportunity for anyone who wants to address the Board of Selectmen with any issue that is not on the agenda. Do we have any hands? Right, and we will move on to item 4. Consider request from Seashore Trolley Museum to waive building permit fee. Laura, do you want to go through the explanation?
Sure, we have Katie Orlando, who's the executive director in the audience, and I'll ask Dave to bring her up and promote her. But while we're doing that, I'll just note that the Seashore Trolley Museum has planned 2 new building projects. One is for the model railroad building, and the other is a replacement of a pole barn. The building permit fees are just under 40,000 estimated. And so their request is that we waive the building permit fees. And I see Katie there now, so I'll let her speak to it.
Thanks, Lori. I was cut off while I was turning into a panelist, but I think I heard you present our proposal, and I appreciate that. Seashore Trolley Museum hasn't had any new building projects on our campus for our Kennebunkport side of our campus for over 4 decades. And it's pretty exciting that we weren't successful in just one fundraising campaign during COVID so far, but 2. So we'll be bringing a new building for a model railroad to our campus in 2022, as well as a new car house that will be a weather-tight storage area for 9 or 10 of our collection fleet trolleys. And so I wasn't sure if there was ever a precedent in some former communities I lived in for nonprofits that I served. There was a different rate for building permits for nonprofits. And I didn't see one in Kennebunkport. So I thought that perhaps I would just ask if the select board would consider a discount or waiving the permit fees. I know that a decision might open the door for future requests. So if the answer is no, we won't take it personally. We just thought we would ask just because we have so much going on this year. And then next year, we hope to start 2 more buildings. So we just wanted to ask now if that would be something you would consider.
You're muted.
Any comments?
I got a couple of comments. Number one is that I understand that that our buses, the town buses that are coming into town are still parking out at the trolley museum. And I don't know how many are there, but I also understand that the parking lot needs to be resurfaced. And the town in the past has paid for that to be resurfaced for the buses. And I was just wondering if there was a trade-off for maybe we could trade the building permit fees for the trolley museum, picking up the costs of doing the entire cost of resurfacing the parking lot.
I think that's a good idea, Mike. I think it's a fair idea. Would be a fair arrangement. They've also said that they'd be interested in doing some school programs and things of that nature that they wouldn't charge a fee for. I think that would be nice, a nice gesture.
Yeah, to me, it's a win-win.
I think so. I do. Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, I
Sure.
think if you look at what they do with the town and the opportunities going forward, for example, outings from Parks and Rec, I mean, it is something that you have a unique entity right here in town. And I also consider that this is probably not going to be built every year. So this is not an annual request. This is just for this year to cover these two buildings. And it's a reasonable request in my mind.
Katie, do you have the authority to guarantee such a motion? If we were to make a motion to, in lieu of paying for the parking lot, we'd waive your fees?
Yes.
I think we should get that in writing on
Yeah.
some kind of a legal document for both of us so that we both know what's going on and there's no argument down the road. We don't want to have any arguments anyway. You don't either. So,
Right.
but let's see if we can do that and come up before we, I think the motion could be that we would make this motion to accept this pending a binding legal agreement between the two.
Is that your
I'll
I'll
motion?
second that motion.
So I'd make a motion, I would make a motion that we would waive the building permit fees estimated at about $40,000 to have the trolley museum pay for the cost of resurfacing the parking lot and allow us to continue to have buses directed there or when they let people off in town, and that we give consideration for a discount for Kennebunkport residences, recreational outings and so forth in some way. So maybe we could get some kind of an agreement together, and then the other part of it would be that once we have a legal agreement between the two parties.
Second.
Is that okay, Katie? Something like that?
Sounds great to me.
Good. All right. I'll take a roll. Pat,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
and Sheila says aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Thank you, Katie.
Thank you so much. We
Good
really
luck. I
appreciate
can't wait to
this.
see your model railroad. I'm gonna have to come and visit.
We're
Yeah.
so excited for both buildings. We'll definitely send an invite when we're ready to do ribbon cuttings.
Katie, I've got a
Great.
1952 Lionel model train set. And it's just been in a closet for 30 years. If I gave it to the trolley museum, could they find a use for it in their new? I'll just give it to you.
Yeah, we probably could, or if it didn't fit in our building, if you would be open to it, we probably could find a youth in the community that wants to start doing things at
Yeah.
their house that would really love that.
Fine,
So
fine, because it's just sitting there.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
that's a nice set too.
Thanks for thinking of us.
Okay.
Good.
Right.
All right, moving on to item 5, discussion of the use of American Rescue Plan Act ARPA funds. Lori?
Sure, and I have Denise with me. So as you know, in May of 2021, the federal government passed the American Rescue Plan Act, and that contained funding for all municipalities and tribal governments in the United States. And we received our first payment in 2021. Sometimes I have a hard time remembering what year it is. 2021, we received half of the funds, and in 2022, we will receive the other half of the funds. The total funds are about $385,000. It was about $100 per capita of population is how it seems to work out. So the funds came with some rules though, and those rules originally were challenging for small municipalities to take advantage of use of the funds besides some very restricted uses. So the Treasury received feedback and came out with new rules as in January of this year. And they allowed a little more flexibility in the use of the funds. So the question is, what can these funds be used for? And there are 4 categories. One is the loss of public sector revenues. So this is one of the areas where they really loosened up some of the rules. Before, it was a very complicated calculation and it was difficult for anyone to prove they had a loss of revenue. So now they have a standard allowance. Think of it like a standard deduction on your tax forms. And so this standard allowance is for up to $11 million. So we clearly are way under that maximum use. But as long as you use it for primary general government services, so things like, you know, police, fire, town office operations, you know, those normal kind of things that you think of. The second is public health and economic responses. So responses related to COVID-19 and its impacts and the economic harm. And in this case, you really need to look at impacted communities and their socioeconomic standing and make a lot of proofs about how this community was impacted and how you're assisting them. Another one is premium pay for essential workers. So we could use some of the funding to give premium pay or bonuses to employees that worked through the COVID-19 response. And the last one is water, sewer, and broadband infrastructure. These are fairly broad categories, where as long as you're spending the funds to improve broadband or, you know, replace and construct new water and sewer infrastructure. So Denise and I have spent some time reviewing this different options and have really looked at the public sector revenue loss. The new standard allowance is probably the simplest one to administer. So keep in mind that we do need to fill out some paperwork reporting for this. It's all done electronically, but we do need to report back on how we use the funds and we have to justify their use. And so we thought that using standard allowance is probably the easiest to administer. And I've talked about some of those, including road, building, maintenance, you know, capital equipment for police, fire, public safety services, etc. And we would think that the $385,000 could be spent on capital needs such as police vehicles, dump trucks, and a 1 ton for public works that we discussed in the capital plan. We also have in there updating the town website and new server as some potential uses. The funds need to be obligated by December 31st of 2024, and they need to be expended by December 31st, 2026. So keep in mind that whatever use these ARPA funds have in our structure of government, we do need to get town meeting approval. And we will plan on doing that in June of this year. But we wanted to get your feedback on where you think those ARPA funds would be best used.
I think that's an excellent use to put them into something that will, you know, depreciable assets, especially with the vehicles, you know, something that will be around as opposed to paying somebody a wage and then it's gone and we don't have it next year to pay out again.
With you, Ed, I like this.
Yep.
Yeah, I like the choices that you made.
Yeah, we certainly have plenty of capital improvement, as we know, as you've been working every year with us on the town's capital improvement plan. That I think this is, I don't think you could spend the money any better.
Lori, is this something that you'd be bringing forward for this coming fiscal year?
Yeah, if you guys were in agreement, then I would be looking to incorporate that funding through the budget process with our capital.
You don't need a vote on this, Lori, do you? Just
well, I think it would be good to have a motion that you guys are interested in using the funds this way, and so that I can have the opportunity to incorporate them into the budget, since I've got to finalize that.
Well, then I would make a motion that we use the capital, is this thing called again, American Rescue Plan Act funds to purchase 2 police cruisers, a 5-ton dump truck, a Ford F-350, and update the town website. And if there's any money left over, purchase a new server for town hall.
Do I have
Second,
a second? Good. And we will take the roll call. Those in favor, Pat,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Alan,
aye,
Ed,
Aye.
and Sheila says aye, motion passes. Very good. That's going to be a help to the town
we help for the taxes too.
and for the tax.
Yes.
Item 6, consider the request from the Beach Advisory Committee to authorize the sum of up to $3,000 to retain a shorebird volunteer coordinator for the 2022 season.
So moved. We've done it every year. Hopefully they can find somebody.
Yeah. Do I have a second?
Second.
And we'll take the roll. Or is there any discussion? Does anybody want to say anything? Okay. Pat,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye,
Ed,
Aye.
and Sheila says aye, motion passes. Yeah, it's a wonderful program. I think what they do. And we will move on to item 7, authorization of contract amendment for the Acorn Engineering.
So Eric LaBelle is here to give an update on the Acorn contract.
Yeah, hi, I think, I don't have video right now, but my apologies for that. Yes, so Acorn Engineering, I did an analysis of the elimination of the pump station.
Right.
And so they did determine that the pump station could be eliminated, which would save the project, this construction, be a reduction of about $579,600 on the project. And however, we would need to go back to Reed Lane and relay the sewer from that location to be able to do that. Which is positive in the end. However, they, in doing so, they will need to redesign the road and, as well as the utilities to that location. And to a cost of $12,500 to be able to accomplish that.
So just for the general public's knowledge, Acorn was hired to do the design and construction documents for the infrastructure at Village Parcel. And part of that was a pump station. As Eric has said, we can reduce the pump station, but that will require additional work in the design and engineering for the rest of the infrastructure, which is the reason for the increase in the contract. So there's Eric. We see him now.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. I've been toggling between my phone and my computer. My apologies.
So
the request is, I'm sorry.
go ahead, Eric.
Select person Sheila. So the request is related to increase the scope of work for Acorn Engineering by $12,500 to be able to do the additional design work or redesign, I should say. So to bring it back, initially there was a design that was done for that project, and it was done for the previous developer. And for us, we're thinking that there might be better opportunities to reduce infrastructure as part of the project. And so this is the work for them to reduce the infrastructure and still get the project, basically the project built at a lesser cost.
Sorry, Sheila.
The only comment I had, or maybe I want you to discuss it, if you're not going to put in the pump, when we go further with the road, whenever that is, are we still going to be able to use the gravity system, or will we need the pump to go further?
Yeah, yes, it will still address, yes, so the grade does go up as you go through the site. So the challenges were really to be able to capture some of the lower areas, and which are typically, which in this particular case are the very beginning of the development. And it was about capturing those properties, not the ones that are, so if you, as you head to
So
school.
the short answer is
Ah,
yes, we will be able to capture the other properties.
Yeah.
Depending on how the lots are developed, those individual lots may need some sort of pump into the main.
That was
Correct?
my next-
Right. My apologies for the engineering answer.
Yeah, that's okay. I would make a motion then, unless somebody else has any comment, to expend $12,500 to Acorn Engineering, because it's going to save us a little over $500,000.
I got a question though, Eric.
Yes.
In the supplemental services, they're saying that outside consultants shall contract and bill directly to the client. And then the second sentence says that it'll be billed on a time and material basis by Acorn. That's not my problem. I don't have a problem, but I just want to know if you are going to be the person that selects the consultants, or is Acorn and you together going to be the people that, because I can see that we're going to need some other engineering people, and according to what they've said anyway. So is that you or is that them?
I would say that's boilerplate for them, in the sense of covering their risk, if you will. Right now, we've been very specific as to what we want from them.
So you're okay. You're okay with this?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
That's all I wanted to know. That's all I want to know. All right.
Second the motion.
All right. So the motion has been made and seconded. The roll call, Pat,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
and Sheila says aye. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Item 8, discussion of public works management reconstruction. And we have Chris.
How's everyone doing tonight?
Very well, thank you.
So with Mike Claus's recent retirement and my promotion to Director of Public Works, we currently have a vacancy. We have a budgeted vacancy. So, one of the tasks that Lori had asked me to complete when she promoted me was to take some time and perform an evaluation of kind of what our staffing needs were at this current time. After a few months in there and some discussion with Eric, at this time, what it's looking like is that we need some assistance with operations. Under the old model, Mike was kind of handling the administrative work and the operations for the highway department, and I was handling the administrative work and the operations for the wastewater department. And I just felt like there were some redundant responsibilities there. So I think in trying to unify both divisions of the public works, it makes more sense to have a director in an administrative role that's handling the administrative work for both departments. But in doing that, that doesn't leave a lot of time for me to handle the operations side of things. Eric is currently busy with the engineering projects that we have going on and the capital projects and the compliance issues that we have at the plant, and making sure that, we're meeting permit there. So really what we need is somebody that can come in and manage kind of the day-to-day operations, more so over at the highway department. So what we'd like to propose is the possibility of hiring an operations manager.
Questions?
Yeah,
No, we've talked about this before.
I got questions. Not the position, but the first thing that is in our package is the Public Works Operation Manager's job functions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You make it sound so attractive, Chris.
Any one of you want to come work, that would be fantastic.
So no, I just said, I mean, who wouldn't want to? Wouldn't want? I get a chuckle every time I read it. I think you did a good job with it, by the way, but I get a chuckle. Who wouldn't want to work in a hazardous, with hazardous materials and in dim light and be able to work in muddy, wetty conditions and be able to lift 75 pounds standing or crouching. I mean, hey, I think this is what I'd like to do. So
It just sounds like the job description for my boat.
yeah. But education and experience, when I got down to that, I took a look at it. You got a lot in here that this person needs to be able to do a lot of things, maybe technical things, computer related, et cetera, et cetera. And when I read the education experience, says high school diploma of equivalent. So I don't know what equivalent means. A GED is that what you mean? Or does it mean trade school or what?
No, generally, yeah, either or. Certainly we will expect some administrative capacity at this level, I think, more so in the form of the work order system that we're going to have. We need somebody that's going to be able to perform some data entry. It's not a difficult system to use. It's really not a whole lot different than using an app on your iPhone. It's not going to be a lot of time involved with that and should be pretty user friendly. So I don't really see an issue with somebody having a hard time using that. Beyond that, certainly I can see memos from time to time or perhaps a letter from time to time. But I think that's something that we can manage.
Okay, so I'm sure you get the right person. I was just wondering if, when I read the job description, and this is beyond human, it sounds, So anyway, it's a good job description. I mean, it's just, I think you're laying it out so that whoever applies for that job knows what's expected. And so
It's going to be no surprises.
exactly, no surprises. So yeah, good. I was just wondering about the education thing. So, okay.
And I
We all
think
know you need the help.
I think you raise a good point, Mike, and we would like to have someone who has, an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree potentially. But for the right person and the right, mix of experience, we would be willing to overlook that. But I think the technology piece is an important piece to this.
I agree, especially all the things that if we're tracking capital, and capital and repairs and everything else that we want to do, it's pretty extensive. So whoever was doing this was doing a lot of work. So,
It is.
yeah. Okay.
Anyone else? Okay, do I have a motion?
So moved.
So move.
All right.
Go ahead,
Second,
Mike.
I'll second it.
All right, and we will take the roll. Pat,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
and I say aye. Motion passes. Good luck.
Thank you.
We know you need the help, so yeah.
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 Good luck with that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, thanks,
Don't
Chris.
go anywhere.
I won't.
All
be.
right, item 9, consider a street opening application for Colony Avenue.
And I
Yeah.
believe we have a rep from Colony Avenue, from the Colony Hotel Construction in the audience as well. I believe it might be Nick. Nick, can you
Bovino.
raise your hand if that is true? He did. Could we promote him, Dave? So I'll let Chris start about the street opening.
So on February 2nd, Brex filed an application with us for a street opening. Brex is currently doing the work for the new Colony Hotel expansion. And some of that work is going to have to take place in Colony Avenue. They are reconstructing that road. part of that is putting in an electrical duct bank. That duct bank is going to be just over 600 feet long down one side of the road. So they do need to open the road up to install that. During that time, as you know, Colony Avenue is pretty narrow. They need a lot of equipment to accomplish this, and there's not a whole lot of room in the road. So at the same time, they're also asking for a road closure from February 14th to no later than May 27th. I don't believe it's going to take that long, but I'll let Nick speak to that. During that time, we did put this out to the other department heads, namely the fire department, police department, and also codes, to make sure that there was no concerns with a road closure during this time. That road closure would be during business hours only, the working hours only from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. And they will provide emergency access if we need it, but it should not affect the residents at the other end of Colony Avenue. It's just going to be, the closure will be the Colony Avenue parcels.
I'm just wondering, I think it's a great idea to be able to close the road so they can do the work and get it done faster. But I'm just wondering, are they going to be able to get fire trucks up in there? If they need to get the fire trucks up in there, are they going to just close the road off so you can't use it, or?
No, so that was one of Chief Everett's concerns. I did speak with the Brex representative, Nick, and they will provide access if we need to get in there. He said that, they will stop what they're doing. If we need to get fire trucks in there, that should not be a problem.
So when they close for the day, they'll leave the road open, but it'll be closed. So the trucks can get up and through there.
The road will be open. So if there is anything open in the road, they're going to plate those openings, and vehicles will still be able to travel it. So It's just from the hours of 7 a.m. to 5 p.m.
So I'm assuming the road will be closed unless for emergency reasons.
That's correct. Between the hours of
7 and 5.
7 a.m. and 5 p.m.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And any objection to that? I think it's a good time of the year because we're not busy yet.
No, it's the Friday before Memorial Day, so they should be done.
So do I have a motion? Or are we still
I think
discussing?
Chris was trying to say, somebody was trying to say something. I don't know. I broke up on my end.
No, I was just gonna follow up by saying that as soon as Brex is finished with the duck bank, Kennebunkport Wells Water District is coming in behind them because they are replacing the water main on Colony Avenue as well. So this will help them accomplish that quicker also.
With the road closed, they'll be able to get it done a lot faster too.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to authorize a street opening application and street closure for Brex.
Second.
Could you also add the dates, please?
Sure, from February 14th to no longer than May 27th.
Thank you. Second?
Yes, second.
Seconded. All right, we'll take the roll. Pat?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Alan?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
And Sheila says aye. Yeah, it's a big project. We'll see what happens, huh? Item 10.
Have you guys been by there? I went by there this afternoon.
Yeah.
I haven't yet.
You need to go by.
On my way home.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, we'll be watching you. Good luck. Approve Goose Rock's Beach sticker rules and regulations for 2022.
So Jamie Mitchell's here with us.
Yep.
Looking very chipper. And we have a memo in your packet, and Jamie discussed with you at your last meeting the idea to amend our current rules and regulations in order to assist the administrative process. And so Jamie, do you want to just give the highlights of this language before them?
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, so what I presented to you was the language that we currently have with a red line version that would be the suggested changes. One thing of most importance that I would like to see added would be the definition section. I think it's important, for understanding, especially situations like this, like what we mean when we say property taxpayer or who qualifies as a non-resident. Other than that, I took your feedback that you gave and kind of put in the two beach stickers per property, and then also included that in a case where somebody is a long-term renter and they have like a year-long or several year-long renters agreement, that they also would be able to get a beach sticker, under the same caveat that an apartment dwelling would be considered the same as a house. So if you have 3 or more roommates, you still would only be able to get the 2 stickers for that dwelling unit, which gives it some uniformity, whether you own your building or not. And then the only other thing of real importance that I suggested changing, we did have some language that enabled the town to not permit the sale of a beach sticker if they had outstanding parking tickets, for example. I think it would be smart to include the language that we would be able to not give one if they also owed taxes or other debts to the town. It wouldn't require us to do so, but having that language gives you kind of that discretion if that type of situation comes up. The rest of it is really just kind of cleaning up and streamlining it so it reads a lot simpler, and it will be able to be administered a lot simpler.
And even though this isn't an ordinance, and Jamie did review it with our town attorney, just because it is a fairly complicated policy, to make sure that they thought the language took care of the situation, and they have approved this language.
Jamie, so that the public understands, if they wanted a third permit, what would they do? And how much is the parking on a daily basis?
So anyone wanting permits over the 2 that we are suggesting per property would be entitled to, but they would pay the same rates that a non-resident would pay. So basically right now, those rates that we haven't proposed increasing this year are $25 for a daily, $100 for a weekly, and $200 for a seasonal.
Which they could get the daily ones at the kiosk or wherever.
We definitely recommend, especially the daily ones, because there's no refund. So if you come to the town office and get a daily permit and get to Goose Rocks Beach and can't find a spot, you just kind of gave us.
Exactly.
So we typically recommend using the kiosk for the daily anyway, just out of better practice.
One quick question, just reading through the language on 315.
Yeah.
It must be firmly adhered to the lower left-hand corner of the rear window of the vehicle to which it is issued. Well, we're not issuing it to a vehicle. So how do we know that it doesn't matter to us which vehicle it's issued to? Is that it?
Yeah, whichever, I would take it as we were just trying to make sure that we included that language that you all requested about requiring that it was affixed, permanently. So we're not going to oversee what vehicle it's issued to, but essentially, if I give you Mike 2 as the property owner, you decide which vehicle it gets adhered to.
I guess my question is trying to make it so that it's clear, is that this implies as to a vehicle which it is issued. And I'm wondering if we should consider changing that somehow, that the sticker has to be attached to a vehicle, but we're not issuing it to a vehicle.
Yeah, we certainly could tweak that language to make it a little bit clearer like that.
That's the only thing, I mean, I think it's very well written. I don't have any problem with it. And I do have that one small question because it's a little bit confusing to people, maybe, that we're not assigning it to a vehicle. So that brings another question. When we issue those stickers, beach stickers, do we put the home address on it, the address to which it's been issued?
So I don't think, because we internally would have access of like what sticker, I'm assuming that the stickers will still have like a number on them. And because we'll internally maintain that list, I don't see that there would be a need to do that. But if, law enforcement, if chief needed to know, sticker number 81,
Yeah.
what property does that belong to?
Yeah, you've answered my question. So what you're gonna do is when they come in to get their stickers, you're gonna write the number next to their address.
Yes, yeah,
That
so
makes
that I
a lot of
would,
sense. Yeah,
so
gotcha.
that we'll know.
Yeah, makes sense.
Jamie, when we order the stickers, I know we've used the same stickers and probably the same company for as long as I can remember. Is it possible to get one-time use stickers, meaning that you can't peel them off the windshield and then stick it on another vehicle?
Have you
Meaning that
tried
they
to
will
remove
disintegrate?
the beach stickers? Right, that would
Yeah,
have
but after the fact, at the end of the year, I'm not one of those people who wants 20 of them on his back windshield.
Yeah, they're hard to get off.
Hard to get off, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
We could, I know the company that we've traditionally used, I believe is no longer in the business. So I know Tracy has been working diligently, kind of find something that is similar. So that would be something that we can take into consideration when we're looking for.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't cost too much extra. I mean, I can't imagine it would. I'm sure that there's a big demand for stickers that are not easily removed.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Now, I think it looks great. And
Done a nice job, Jamie.
my only question, Jamie, is, there are people in town who own multiple properties, both with structures on them and own land as well. Will everybody who gets a tax bill? I got 2 tax bills today, and I'll probably get another one. Will we all get vouchers for those properties?
That is the way that I'm understanding that
Okay.
we're planning it. That's what I've heard the feedback from you guys. I think that it's per property.
I don't have a problem with that. I'm
Yeah.
just curious if that's how it's going to be.
That is my understanding and my intent, but if that's not yours, I certainly would welcome that feedback.
So Jamie, if you're sending out vouchers, which means that then they will have to come to the town office to get the beach passes. If, say, I get 2 vouchers and I really don't use the beach and I pass them to my neighbor, can they come in for a beach pass? Do you know what I mean? Is there any control there?
Yeah, I would say no, because that's one of our major concerns, right? That we had identified that if we weren't requiring them to be affixed or whatever, that people will just nilly, the owner would have to get the beach sticker from us.
Okay.
Either directly or, I'm still working through the mailing, because there may be people that just don't want to come into the office, and I understand, but I think there'll have to be some kind of responsibility, so that like if the sticker gets lost in the mail, too bad type thing, so that we don't have people saying, oh, I didn't get them, and 10 stickers later.
Yeah.
I think that's right. That's a good policy. If they really want a sticker, they can come in. Yeah.
Any other questions?
The only thing I would add, and it's probably not right here in this particular section of our ordinance. At some point, maybe tonight, maybe not tonight, I'd like to talk about parking at the beach, parking times, eliminating overnight parking at Goose Rocks Beach. Because it's my understanding that there are people who just use these parking, that live in the area, just simply use these parking spots with their sticker illegally and just park their vehicles there all the time, so that the driveway is free either for extra vehicles, or if they have company coming, they can park in their driveway while they're taking up spaces on the street. And they're certainly entitled to do so, but not in perpetuity.
Sounds like another day.
Okay, and that's fine.
Yeah, no, and that's a conversation I think I would love to sit down with you and perhaps Chief Sanford. I've had similar thoughts. I just think that's a larger conversation that we should have kind of with them and go from there.
I've heard from members of the community that, this was brought to me by some people. So yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about it on another evening. But I think what you've done here is great. And I would make a motion to accept the new Goose Rocks Beach parking sticker ordinance.
Rules and regulations.
Rules and regulations. Yeah, I guess it's not really an ordinance, but
Rules and regs.
Yep.
Do I have a second?
Second,
So, good.
Okay, I'll take the roll. Pat,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Alan,
aye,
Ed,
Aye. Great job, Jamie.
and Sheila says aye. And this being the first summer, Jamie, we may have to tweak it next year. Who knows? But this is the way we'll get it started anyway.
It's a good start. Thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you, James. Item 11, I am on 11, aren't I?
Yeah.
Wow, this is going fast. Consider request of Hurricane Restaurant to rent spaces in the Dock Square parking lot for the summer of 2022 season. And I think Taylor is here.
Taylor's in the audience. Dave, do you want to bring him up? In your packets, you have a request from Taylor regarding use of some parking spaces at Dock Square parking lot.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Taylor.
Hello.
Good evening. So yeah, I was really looking and hoping to get some approval for a smaller space than we have in the previous years, right out back Hurricane Restaurant, for some dining, for some outdoor dining. It's really been very beneficial to our business over the past couple of years, especially during the pandemic. And I kind of wrote up that proposal hoping that we could continue this for at least one more season to help the business get through what seems to be slowing down, hopefully, pandemic wise. But I'd love to hear everybody's thoughts or concerns or anything surrounding that. I think it's worked out really.
Do you want to present your proposal? Because the public needs to hear it as well.
Sure. Yep, absolutely. So basically, the back two, I'm looking to not do a tent this year. Just the first two parking spots, which I believe in the past were those two handicap parking spots closest to Hurricane Restaurant.
Here's your
it too long?
diagram. I don't know if you could see it.
Yep. Yeah. I see the diagram there. And I'm really looking to rent those spots. That way the town isn't losing any income for the town. And I'm willing to rent those for a little bit more than what they would make on a yearly basis in the lot. And I think it's kind of a benefit to everyone, the town. And I think over the past 2 years, I've gotten really great feedback from locals and tourists, and as well as the other business owners in town, enjoying that outdoor space and the beautiful area that parking lot is sitting on right there. And being one of the only restaurants besides Allison's and Kennebunkport that doesn't have the opportunity to have any outdoor seating, it's been a really great addition to the business and allowing us to continue doing good numbers and continuing this historic restaurant through the years to come. As expenses are skyrocketing in the restaurant industry, it would be very helpful for us. And I'm really looking forward to this 31st season of Hurricane. So it's something I'm really passionate about.
Well, I'll speak first. As a representative also of the businesses in town, I think the outdoor seating has been a plus for not just the tourists, but for the residents as well. I know a lot of people in town have taken advantage of it. It's just a wonderful spot to go to, have a cocktail, have an appetizer, or have a complete dinner. The fact that Taylor is willing to pay for those places, the town doesn't lose anything by it. And I think visually, when you drive into town and you see the people outdoors, it's a plus. It's attractive looking, and you know, I think it's a good idea.
Thank you, Sheila.
Well, I have an opinion, and one of the things that I have is that when Taylor bought this restaurant, didn't have outside dining, and he knew what the game was, and we ended up only allowing outside dining for COVID, and we made that very clear in the last 2 years that that's what it was for. And we even had a debate last year about whether or not to extend it for another year, as you know, and we did. But if we approve this, what we're saying to the other restaurants, by the way, Hurricanes is one of my favorite restaurants in town, so this isn't anything to do with that. If we do this, we've got Allison's, we've got Kennebunkport Inn, we've got others who have just the same right of leasing parking spots. And our parking lot down there is very limited. And it is full a lot, very, very much full a lot of the time in the summertime. And if we take parking spots away for one business, we're taking parking spots away for the other businesses in town who do have problem trying to have their clients or their customers find parking. So to me, the money is irrelevant. We'll get as much money out of it on parking. I just think that we shouldn't be setting a precedent of leasing public property when everybody doesn't have the same chance. And that's my whole thing. I understand the business aspects of it and et cetera. But again, as I say, you knew the game going into it. You didn't have that opportunity. The only reason you had the opportunity is because the town people, including the selectmen here, extended you the courtesy of being able to do that to help you through the pandemic. And the pandemic is, well, hopefully it's gonna not maybe cease, but it's gonna get down in a great deal. So that's my feeling. So I would be, in my opinion, I would be against extending that.
I happen to agree with what you're saying. I won't repeat what you said, but a lot of it, I do agree with what you said. And Hurricanes is an excellent restaurant. And, you know, we wish them well during the pandemic. And I think that we have such a small parking area down there that I just don't want to give that up for the other tourists and the other local people that we do really need those 2 other spaces. If we did give up the spaces to him, we'd still have to find another space for the handicap. We need 4, correct me, Lori, if I'm wrong, that we do need 4 handicap spaces, and that would mean that we lose 2 more because you can't get a handicap space out of 1 space.
Right.
So I'm with you, Mike, on that. Taylor, you have a great restaurant, and I'm proud to have you there.
Thank you.
You know, I think that the perception of trying to get back to a normal situation with regard to parking down there so that everybody, you know, has a free chance to come and go as they will is most important. I mean, we bent over backwards during the pandemic, and certainly willingly. But I think it's time that we got back to normal. So I agree with Mike and Alan.
Thank you.
Ed, you're the,
I'd make a motion then that we deny the request.
Yeah, I'm with the majority. You know, again, I don't go out very often, but I had the opportunity to go out on the last night that Hurricanes was open this year, and Taylor and I had a very nice discussion. I introduced myself. We hadn't met before, and told him that the Board of Selectmen and the town was very happy to work with them and help them through the pandemic. But you know, at the risk of jinxing us, I think that we're going to live with COVID for the rest of our lives. But I think that the pandemic itself is starting to wind itself down as people have become vaccinated or infected. You know, their immunity is going around, and we do need to get back to our sense of normalcy. So, you know, I
understand the normalcy and getting back to the normal. I think I agree with you, and I think it's there's some things that the public sometimes doesn't see, or as far as like expenses, and the restaurant industry has skyrocketed. Even from, let's say, in 2019, in 2021 I had $220,000 more in expenses than in 2019, and it's for less of a gross profit. And it's just, and that's with the tent. And
but that's business. That's not the
business.
town.
It's not the town's. That's not our responsibility.
I totally understand. I was mostly just hoping for, you know, for helping me, as this is like, these are things that came from the pandemic, and I understand everybody's opinion.
And it's not, you're not in a bubble, Taylor. This has happened to all the restaurants in town, and we cannot offer them the same opportunity because of their location that we have afforded you in the past.
Yep.
You know, I certainly appreciate it. I'm a businessman myself and been self-employed for 30 years, but you know, we could go through the numbers of my business, and you know, we could sit around and complain about the price, you know, inflation, etc., till the cows come home. But you know, it doesn't change anything. You know, this is who we are, and we do these things. If you do it for the way most business owners I do, because you enjoy it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's great to make money, but we do it through the good and we do it through the bad. And there'll be better times ahead, I promise you.
I look
So
forward.
a motion has been made.
I'll second Mike's motion.
all right. We'll take a roll. Pat,
Yeah, I support the motion.
to deny.
Aye, yeah.
Mike,
I support the motion to deny.
Alan,
I support the motion to deny.
Ed,
Aye.
and I say nay. So it's 4-1.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Taylor.
Good luck, Taylor. Thank you for coming tonight.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right. Item 12, adopt a resolution to join the Community Resilience Partnership.
Yeah, we have Eli in the audience. So Dave, can you bring Eli up as a panelist?
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Eli.
Hey, Eli.
Good to see you all. I just want to start by saying it appears like my internet connection is not great tonight. So if I do cut out, maybe give me a wave or something so I can go back and try to repeat anything that was missed.
Will do.
So with that, we're talking about the resolution to join the Community Resilience Partnership. In your packets, you'll see there's a memo and a copy of the proposed resolution. So I wanted to just give you some background of why the resolution is in front of you and why staff is recommending the adoption of this resolution to access grant money to save the town money on planning projects. And to start, I'll try to give some context of how this fits in with all the climate work that we've been doing, that's already been underway, to get a little more understanding. So I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, can everyone see climate action planning, funding and development process?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, you know what? Actually, I apologize. I'll get to that in 1 second. I wanted to start with this first, actually. So, you'll remember in November 2020, the board adopted the Kennebunkport climate change goals to help move the town towards a prepared and climate resilient future. And in order to best accomplish these goals, for staff to prioritize them, to make funding decisions, to do the work needed to ensure successful outcomes, we are developing a plan. This climate action and resilience plan to achieve Kennebunkport's climate change goals. So we now have an opportunity through a new state grant to fund the development of this plan and to help accomplish the town goals. And to access this grant, the state is asking communities to join the Community Partnership Program. And that's the reason for the resolution that you see. So now I'm going to share the screen, give a little bit of context. There, hopefully everyone can see that. All right. So just to back up a bit, how does this fit in with everything else? The climate action plan, you can imagine this as an overlay that's going to sit on top of the existing studies and analysis that SMPDC has already undertaken and is currently underway. It's kind of the base of the road, and we're building the road on top of that. So the steps in this are going to be, first, to join the partnership. Oops, let me do that. No. There we go. The steps in this are to join the partnership. That's what we're seeking tonight. And that gives us access to grant funding that's only available through joining the partnership. And the eligibility requirements just to join the partnership is the state just wants to see that the community and that the community's leadership is supportive and invested in climate action. And that's done through this resolution. So after that, we will be applying for a community action grant. And the grant actually encourages collaboration with access of increased funding up to $100,000 for municipalities that work together. And so Kennebunkport is planning to form a cohort with 3 other towns, our neighbors here, that are kind of at similar stages in climate planning, and to jointly hire SMPDC to provide guidance and support for Kennebunkport and for the other towns to fully develop our own plan. And so what this plan is, it's designed as a 13-month community participatory process that will examine all the things that we talk about that are already included in the climate change goals: greenhouse gas emissions, coastal and inland flooding, public and private vulnerabilities, lots more. There were 11 goals that were outlined in the Kennebunkport climate change goals. And very importantly, the plan will include implementation actions and prioritization based on the values and direction from the community and from the boards, the town boards and committees. So it's a very heavily participatory process, and it's really a people-based plan. And so what do we do with that? After that, we'll have the framework we need to achieve our climate change goals. And this helps to inform, if the future town services, budgets, and planning kind of by that vision and the steps that's articulated in the plan. And then we'll have measurement criteria to be able to adapt and kind of go along as needed. I'm going to stop sharing here. I'll pause there for a second if people have questions.
So basically, we have the opportunity to join with some other municipalities, 3 other communities, to further our goals and access state funds by passing this resolution. I think we also have Robin Phillips in the audience, has her hand raised.
Hello. I have been asked to make a brief statement on behalf of the Kennebunkport Conservation Commission regarding the Community Resilience Partnership. Is that okay? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. The Kennebunkport Conservation Commission formally voted at their Tuesday evening planning meeting to unanimously endorse the Select Board's adoption of the resolution to join the Community Resilience Partnership. The Commission's mission is to serve as a research, advisory, and advocacy group on environmental and conservation issues related to the town of Kennebunkport. And as part of that mission, they support and advocate for all climate action efforts on behalf of the town and its residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin.
Thank you. Well, I would move, I think this is a very positive step for our town. So I would make a motion that we join with the other communities in the participating in the Community Resilience Partnership so that we can reduce greenhouse gas emissions and increase resiliencies to extreme weather and climate change impacts.
Do I have a second?
Second.
And I will take a roll. Lori, I'm on my phone as well, just in case.
Yeah, I just asked Dave to bring you up on your phone so you could close out of your iPad.
Great. Thank you. Dave, I think you may have to bring me up again.
It reminds me of Star Trek teleportation.
Yeah.
You were up.
Good
Stan.
Lord here.
Yeah, what planet are you on?
Yeah.
So Sheila, just close out your iPad. Leave-
Yeah, I just did. Great. Okay, is that better?
Oh, much better. Well, maybe.
Much better.
There's still got two in here.
It's an echo.
Yeah, because I think the speaker on the iPad is still working. So you have to leave the meeting, not just shut the iPad down. On the iPad, but stay in the meeting on the phone.
Either that or throw it in the water.
Let the baby play with it.
Yeah,
No.
Okay, the iPad's gone. So now Sheila on her phone.
Maybe.
Sheila, can you hear us?
She's muted. There she goes.
Is that good?
That's good.
Yes.
Goodness. Yeah, I should have had my baby here. So a motion was made and seconded?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm taking a roll call. Pat,
aye.
Mike,
Aye.
and Alan,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
and Sheila says aye. Motion passes. I'm sorry for this. Item 13, authorize quit claim deed for map 026, block 001, lot 006B.
So moved. It's been paid.
Right, well, let me read what I have. This property is off Witten Hill Road and is owned by Lisa Dries. The property has recently foreclosed upon for past due taxes. Lisa has paid all past due taxes, fees, and interest. Staff are recommending authorization of the quitclaim deed.
Second.
So, do we have a second?
Yeah, second.
Seconded. All right, roll. Pat,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
and Sheila says aye. Thank you. And item 14, accept a $500 donation from Lois Badger to the nurses account to assist with supplies, equipment, and training.
So moved with much appreciation.
Second,
All right, taking a roll. Pat,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Alan,
aye,
Ed.
Aye.
Sheila says aye. Motion passes. And other business. Pat,
Nothing, thank you.
Mike,
Nothing.
Alan,
I'm all set.
Ed.
Nothing for me, thank you.
All right, I think you said that. And Lori, I'm fine. I have nothing.
So the only thing I was going to not ask for an answer tonight, but start to think about what does our public meeting process look like with the Omicron variant cases decreasing, and whether or not the board has an interest in examining this spring going back to in-person meetings or trying to establish hybrid meetings, or whether through the budget process we would like to stay virtual in order to allow as much public access as possible. So if anybody has any thoughts to share, that's fine. Otherwise, it's just something to think about that we could discuss at your next meeting.
Let's give it a couple weeks and see where this Omicron takes us.
Yeah, there are some states now that are eliminating the mandatory mask inside. So that's a good sign. Hopefully that will come to Maine. Or I don't think there's a mandate in Maine now anyway. I think it's just recommended. I don't know. I think it's
Just
just
individual
recommended.
municipalities, I believe, Sheila.
Yeah, I think so.
And Portland dropped theirs, so, or will be soon.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think if we go back to, this is my opinion, if we go back to in-person meetings, I don't want to have to sit with a mask over my face for an hour and a half. That's just my thing.
I'm with you there.
Well, let's make the meeting shorter then.
We can
Okay,
do that.
let's meet 4 times a month. All short meetings.
Can I tender my resignation now for 4 times a month?
After me.
All right, but I agree with you, Ed. You know, let's wait a couple of weeks, see where we go with this.
We're trending in the right direction, and I've
Yeah,
been
we
doing a
are.
lot of research. My daughter got COVID, so I did about 1 million things of research, and not from Joe Rogan, but
Well, he doesn't give it.
we are going to live with this forever. We're going to live with with COVID forever, just like the other variants that cause the flu and other seasonal things that we deal with, but hopefully not at the level that we have. And as I said, you know, the medical experts, and these people were medical experts, seem to think that we were trending in the right direction finally. So let's hope that's the case.
Anybody else?
I'm on
Right.
board with it.
Yeah.
Yep. Wait a little while. Yep.
Wait, yeah.
All right, Lori, anything else?
That's it.
Oh,
All right, well, I move the warrants.
Second,
and Pat,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Alan,
aye,
Ed,
Aye.
and Sheila says aye.
Motion
And-
to adjourn.
And we will have signatures for you tomorrow, so,
Yep, I'll
Yes.
be there. Yep.
I don't think I'll be there.
okay, so I need 3 others.
I'll be there.
I'll be in.
Yeah.
I can always come in late afternoon. All right, we have a motion to adjourn and a second.
second,
I don't usually take a roll call.
No, it's okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
good night.
Good
Good
night.
night,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.